Hello, everyone. This is Lady A. I hope you're having a beautiful day with the liquid sunshine coming down and feeding the rest of the of grass and making everything else beautiful. Okay. I've been divinely wonderful, blissfully happy, just beautiful. White women. from from the beginning. That has been they have been the beneficiary from the beginning. Elaborate, my brother. hmm Well, that's what happens when you make a deal with the devil that you should have known, and you are making a deal with a righteous heart, but you're playing with the devil. That's what happened. And I'm not mad with anybody who utilizes whatever. I mean, I just look at what's going on now with this transgender stuff and how even their rights. Black people have never benefited from the civil rights movement. Not really. Uh, it had even Malcolm X said, he says, just a piece of paper. That's all it is a piece of paper. No, it does not. You'll find something else. It's un, it's unfortunate, but those of us, let me see. There is it's an insult to the people before us right out of slavery who were able to accomplish so many wonderful, beautiful, great things, owning property, creating businesses, really understanding the working together, being a village of people to enhance the prosperity opportunities. For us to lose that, but the intent is to kill or hush or cripple the voice like an Ida B. Wells, to cripple people with that type of mentality where you can't get to hear it. That's why you'll see things so much on Facebook about our Black history. I never knew that. But it was in a person's lifetime. They had no idea about it because there's no reason why we haven't. There's it should never have been that we haven't accomplished overall more when you've had hundreds of places like Black Wall Street. That Black Wall Street is just the one we talk about. Mississippi had one even before Black Wall Street, and it still exists. Those things should be common. But when the mindset becomes weak and disrespect begins to be okay, you get what you got. Um, then when you have this manipulation of the family, yeah, you can get welfare as long as ain't no man in the game. But instead of you understanding that, you fell slave to that, and then the jealousy. She got a man over her house, I'm gonna tell. So, but why you worried about what's going on over there? Instead of let's everybody get one and mind our own business and don't nobody know. And that helps our children. And that alleviates all of that weight on you, the woman. Because women can argue with it all they want to, but it was never intended for you to just be a single mom. Now, if you get a husband and he die, if he was running the things the way it was supposed to be, it'll keep on that way if you're a smart woman. But that's why you're killing your kids, because it's too much stress on you. You're killing your kids because you're emotionally bankrupt and don't even understand the concept of being a mother. Um, Again, we as generations have gone on have insulted those right out of slavery by going down, down, down. And we don't even help on a consistent basis those that we should be helping. We should be picking who our police officers are, who our teachers are. Those kids, that's what you want to be? You want to be a doctor? Okay, let's the neighborhood. Let's get together. What your kid want to do? That's what we should be doing amongst each other. That's what should be promoted. But I ain't got no money. But you don't have to have a lot of money if we do it together. If it's a cohesive effort and the neighbors, we're going to pick the kids out. What you want to do? What you want to do? And that's what LeBron James did with his friends.
Okay, let me say this. As far as our children go, my 18-month-old nephew refuses to walk, but will crawl fast as a race car. Okay? Refuses to walk. Banged on my door downstairs. Okay, and you've been over to my house and you know how it's set up and you have to walk up 2 flights of stairs. He
Yep.
banged on my door. Okay, let me start from the beginning. This is how smart our children are. He opened the door downstairs, pushed the door open, crawled over to my door, banged on the door. I'm thinking it's my mother or somebody else down there. I go down there to open the door up. It's him. I open the door. He crawls in. I go to pick him up to take him up the stairs. He pushes my hand and crawls up 2 flights of stairs.
Wow.
Gets up the flights of stairs and looks at me and starts laughing.
Wow.
That's how intelligent our children are.
And wants to do it his way, not the
What,
easy way, his way.
what his way. Literally pushed my hands out the way and he crawled up those stairs like he had did it before. I said, wow. But okay, check this out. I got a couple of videos. I'm gonna have to go into my YouTube archive for the other one. I just found it, but check this out.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, let me.
This White House is recognizing Juneteenth.
Can you hear it?
And
Yes.
with that said, the issue of reparations continues to be something that is being parsed out on the other side of Pennsylvania Avenue. And with that said, the late John Conyers started with, a study. Now you have Congresswoman Bush not just asking for a study, but she's creating a resolution to push forward on reparations. What does this White House believe when it comes to this controversial issue of repairing a wrong for the descendants of Africans in this nation?
So, look, as you mentioned, Juneteenth, there was a concert here yesterday, and we saw how powerful and how moved the president was by the concert and by kind of the story that was laid out through the concert about Juneteenth and how important that moment was. Opal, as you know, was here, and it's always moving to hear her and to see her. And As you know, the president signed Juneteenth to be the most recent holiday about 2 years ago. So I think that shows from that action. I'll give you more. I think that shows from that action how important the president thinks this moment is. How important he thinks that it is important to continue to lift up the African American community, and he'll continue to do so. As it relates to reparations, I saw just moments ago Cori Bush's resolution. We haven't reviewed the proposal yet. It's a new proposal, so we'll take a look at it. So I can't comment on that specifically. But the president has been really clear as it relates to reparation. He wants to see a study of reparations and studying the continuing impacts of slavery. He believes that is incredibly important.
After the study, if the study concludes what many thought leaders and civil rights leaders have said, what next? Does the president support a payout? Because the nation is divided on this. This has been one of the biggest issues over the decades about how to repair the enslavement over generations of Africans brought to this country for free labor. So what does the president do after? What will he lean in on after a study, which is expected to basically say what many of the civil rights and Black thought leaders have said? Does the president believe in a financial repair for the descendants of Africans in this nation?
So look, I will say this: we got to let the study move forward. We got to let to see what the study shows, and we got to continue to study the impact of slavery. That is something that the president believes that we need to do. So that's incredibly important. But I will say, April, and you know this, you've covered this since we've walked into this administration. When we think about the crises that we see in our country, the president called out how race inequality is a problem, right? Is a crisis for us in this moment, which is why he is taking comprehensive action. When you think about what he did on the first couple of days that he walked in, signing an executive order to make sure at the federal level that we put equity at the center of this. And it is important that we continue to do this. How do we deal with the inequalities that we see in this country? And he's trying to do that on the federal level. So let's see what the study shows. It is important to continue to study the continuing impacts, if you will, on slavery. And I think because of the president's action, he's been very clear. He's been very clear how important it is, even just looking at his economic policy, how important it is to leave no one behind, have equity at the center of everything that he's done. If you look at every piece of historic piece of legislation that has passed, that he has signed, it has equity at the center of it.
That was no answer. And I despise that. I could never be a journalist. I couldn't. Because I'd stop her right there. Okay, so we heard that the first time you started talking. We heard that the second time you started talking. So 3 strikes and you're out. So the answer I need is either yes, I know. It's simple.
Okay. My question is, it's 2023. They study everything else. Why are they still studying the impact of slavery and they see it every day in the goddamn neighborhoods?
How about they already have a study?
Hold on now.
The study that's been done ain't good enough.
Okay, see, so basically what they're saying is
You ain't getting nothing.
you niggas is already getting welfare. That's your reparations.
And we don't get that. They get that. They want to make you think it's us. Man.
I mean, she kept saying, she went straight to like Juneteenth actually means something.
And I'm beginning to think that, like Claude Anderson said, that's an insult too.
It is an insult because you got the Reading Rainbow people that took that overnight. June is their month. I mean, I'm sitting here and I want to laugh because when I first seen it, I had to watch it again because I thought I was watching. I really thought I was in fairy world somewhere because I'm like, what the fuck is she talking about?
That was horrible. Insulting. That was highly insulting. Even a first grader would have been mad. So when are you going to answer it's incredibly important. It's incredibly okay.
Yes.
Does he agree or what?
Yes. Nah.
I couldn't be a journalist because I wouldn't have been able to hold my tongue. My tongue would have fell out off my face. And that's because when people do that, I think that's one of the most insulting things people can do is all
It
of
is.
this rhetoric instead of, you know what? Now, I will say this about Trump. He may have been a butthole and he may be racist, but he would at least do better than that in answering the question. Just like I love the clip that Dave Chappelle shows with him and Hillary talking about his taxes. He said, if you don't like what I do, change the law,
Change the
change
law.
the tax code. He said, because I'm smart. I ain't mad about it. Now that I ain't mad about. He told, and when the Republicans are out there, they called it, well, Trump called out that gay mess. He called it out, straight out. Ain't nobody had no
Exactly.
problem. They didn't try to cancel Trump when he did it.
Ron
Now,
DeSantis, see, here's the catch. Ron DeSantis is calling it out right now too. That's one of the reasons why. They trying to say with him. Even though it's messed up. Yes, he took. Yes, he did. He took the. Got rid of Black history in Florida. But the main reason he got rid of it was because they had put the rainbow LGBT in there. And so he asked the question, what does that have to do with Black history?
nothing.
And they could never answer the question. The NAACP, none of them people. So when people was talking about what the NAACP had to say about Ron DeSantis and all that, my question to them was are you listening to the same NAACP that helped steal Black farmers' land? Are you listening to the same NAACP that don't support reparations? You niggas better wake up.
No, they should have listened to Malcolm X a long time ago about the NAACP.
What he said? What did
It's a
he
lot
say
of
about the
cream in
white
that
liberal?
coffee. It's a lot of cream in that coffee. You don't mess with it.
What did he have to say about the white liberal? Exactly. Okay, here we go. Now check this out. Here go another one. Check this one out now. Can you see the screen?
I can see the screen, but nothing is on it but us right now.
Oh, I gotta add it. Okay. Okay, you see it now?
Yes, I do.
Okay, check it out now. Oh, hold on. Let me take it off and take the sound off. Okay. And let's go back just the hairline here. Perfect. Okay. Listen at this, man.
I had dinner with a friend of mine, and he was saying that there's a disconnect. There's a disconnect because he's like, you're here in D.C. and everybody's so important, and you are talking to members of Congress and administration officials. It's a disconnect between your conversations and what's happening out here in these streets.
Yes.
So how do we bridge that gap? Because I don't feel disconnected from the streets. Like I'm you, and you are everywhere I am. You are. Mm-hmm. But some people feel like, this politics and policy, it doesn't impact me. It doesn't touch me. And when I look to the Congressional Black Caucus to do something, what are they doing? How are they supporting me? And I always try to explain what they're doing, but maybe you can do a better job.
Now, mind you, the reason she said she passed the buck to him like that because she couldn't explain it as well. But sorry for interrupting. Let's let Jamal Bowman answer the question. What does the Congressional Black Caucus actually do for Black people? What do they do? What do Black politicians actually do?
Explain what they're doing, but maybe you can do a better job.
We need to be out there in those streets.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why I always mention Yonkers, Mount Vernon, the Bronx, and New Rochelle when I go on mainstream media is because I want people in my district to recognize there are Black folk in my district who are struggling and have been historically struggling. So I make it a point to go into Eden Wall projects and to go into the Black communities to really listen, learn, and understand what's going on. Plus, these are communities that I come from, so I feel more comfortable there. I have to also mention this about this particular legislative conference, and to the point you just made. there's classism in the Black community. And we need to talk about the classism in the Black community, and we need to address it head on. Just because I got degrees, or I go to a certain church, or I'm a part of a certain fraternity, or I went to Ivy League or private school, it doesn't make me an elitist.
Right.
It doesn't make me more privileged or someone that can look down upon, especially our people, because our people still suffering. If we don't uplift them, they will never be uplifted. So we got to deal with the issue of classism. One way is we might want to change the dress code a little bit for the next conference, because I want to see brothers and sisters from the hood who have never been to this conference before. We need to bring them to the conference.
Yeah, I think that.
Okay.
Okay, so does anybody answer a question? What in the world? Somebody asks you what do you do, and you gotta talk about what you gotta do. Does anybody answer does anybody answer the question about anything? And then because you say certain things in a certain way, and as my father would have said, you have a certain brogue that comes across like you really know something that you think that's gonna just no, you never answered the question.
These Negroes think they so smart.
That's so irritating. That's like you in a relationship and you think y'all going together. He ain't never told you that.
Thank you. You really think y'all going together, and this person in a whole nother atmosphere.
All the way. And then you ask the question. So are we seeing each other? Yeah, baby, I see you right now. That's pitiful.
Yeah, you ask, well, what are we doing here? Well, what you mean? What we in the restaurant?
Yeah. Like, all righty now. That was pitiful. Both of those. And again, I feel like I know what's going on. I'm looking at the way she dressed. That alone tells me you don't know what's going on. How dare you say that? Because you ain't rolling with nobody up in the hood. When they talk about the hood, they talk about what LL Cool J, when he talks about that girl around the way. That's when you know what's going on. That's your example. If you don't have nothing else, LL spoke on it right then and there.
She couldn't explain what her friends do. That's in the Congressional Black Caucus.
Because they're not doing nothing.
She had to bring him on and say, I need to let you explain it. And he had absolutely zero.
I wanted to hear what her explanation was. There's no way that you think that you got you know about the heartbeat, what's going on in the hood, because your punk behind scared to go in the hood. Girl, bye. Big Daddy might go up in there, but you ain't. But the one person who could talk about the hood ain't a politician. Mary J. Blige. Okay. And she know better than to go up in there now with too much stuff on. But you talking about people who really been there in that life.
Exactly.
They live that life. They've been in those circumstances. Unless you've been there yourself, or you understand completely the feelings of those who have been there, don't tell me you know. Don't tell me you know. He mentioned a few projects. That's where you come from. Yeah, they in the project and you up in the house and y'all doing fine.
No.
What are you talking about? This where you come from.
What got me was at the next conference, we need to dress down. Now, what the fuck does that have to do with your policy?
Thank you. And why go down? Why not bring them up?
Exactly. And what does that have to do with your voting record and what you've been voting on and what you've been in there doing? What does that have to do with any of that?
Again, another insult. And I thought when he made that comment about changing the dress, what?
Yeah.
How about just let them come as they are and you still do you?
Thank you. How about you come and you give them something that they can take home with to make them feel good, like, yeah, I'm glad I voted for that man.
Thank you. Oh, just to digress, one of the 5 is a councilman now. Did you see that?
Who?
One of the 5 boys, well, they were boys when they got arrested and they didn't really do the crime and they got off, the 5 kids for that rape in the park.
New York Central Park?
Yeah, the Central Park 5. The Central Park 5. Well, one of them, the Muslim, he is now a city councilman.
Yusuf, the one named
Yes,
Yusuf? Okay.
yes. I think I sent that to you. So
Okay.
check Messenger. I think I sent it because he spoke eloquently. He really did. Yeah. Now he can tell me. Now I'm gonna listen to him. Now he can tell me what he needs to tell me, and he can say it to you very eloquently. He doesn't have to use a lot of big words. He's a very good speaker. But he said, "I've been in the belly of the beast."
Okay. I got one
Yes.
more here.
He has a lot of credibility with me after what them kids have gone through.
Okay. I got one more here about the Congressional Black Caucus to show you what they be up to. Okay, hold on a second. I got one more.
Have they ever really accomplished anything since Yusuf, Swami, or whatever? Quit laughing.
telling you, I got one more now. This is what they up to. This is what they're doing now. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yes, but it's not up yet.
Okay. Let's do it. Oh, I gotta add it. There we go. Here we go.
Migrants were visited today by 3 members of the Congressional Black Caucus, California's Karen Bass and Barbara Lee, as well as New York's Yvette Clarke. They and local Congressman Juan Vargas spoke with African asylum seekers about the treatment they've received in Mexico. The migrants have been made to wait in Tijuana for months at a time under the Trump administration's metering policy, which severely restricts the amount of people allowed to apply for asylum at a port of entry. Earlier this year, asylum seekers from Cameroon staged a protest, calling the metering policy and the waiting list maintained by the Mexican government corrupt.
But because of our egregious immigration policies, we need to pay specific attention to the plight of the immigrants from African countries because they wind up being equally stateless. There is a process that is very strange. It is not transparent. They do not speak Spanish. And so how they even factor themselves into the process so that they can make a plea for asylum, it's not really clear at all.
Many African asylum seekers have left countries like Cameroon and Eritrea where they face political violence. The migrants then fly to countries in South America which don't require visas and travel overland all the way to the southern border.
They should not have to be treated like this. They should not have to have such a dangerous journey just to get to a place which in many ways continues this dehumanizing process.
The Department of Homeland Security has said that the metering system is in place because it lacks the capacity to process the large number of asylum seekers along the southern border. Once asylum seekers are finally processed, they often face years of detention as their asylum claim winds its way through court. In September...
Okay, enough of that.
Yeah, because again, nothing. Nothing. Versus you tell me what is, you tell me what should, and you tell me how it's to be done.
Okay, now everything that they said was going on at the border, ain't that happening in the neighborhoods?
You think?
Okay, now I'm sitting here and I'm listening at this, and I'm saying to myself, they're concerned about, okay, you got how's these Africans getting over here to Mexico on the airplane? Who financing that trip? Who financing that trip? One. Number two, all of them immigrants that I'm looking at coming walking through here, they got their children with them, one. And then number two, did you see how clean they were?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
I'm sitting here saying to myself now, just this is what we're doing. This is really what I hadn't even watched that. That was my first time watching it. I had just saved it in my playlist, in my history, so I could, for us, as for another piece. I hadn't even watched that. That was my first time watching that. And I'm sitting here saying, I'm looking at 4 black women who at the highest of their game would rather continue to get these young women welfare benefits than to try to get them out of that situation. They down there at the border in Mexico. At the border in freaking Mexico. Wow.
That's
Wow.
why that there are quite a few people that I listen to, and I'm surprised, even from a historical standpoint, why some of them they actually don't vote. But I understand why they don't. I really do. When I look at like, what are you voting for? I mean, really, how much worse can it possibly get? I mean, we short of being back in slavery almost, you know.
My question is with all of this, and this gets back to the Democrats keep talking about that they need the black vote, they need to get the black vote out, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Then why are y'all allowing all these illegal immigrants over here? One. And then number two, y'all keep saying that they are the jobs that they gonna do. What jobs? If y'all are bringing in artificial intelligence, what's the reason for the illegal immigrants? And number one. Number two, if they are illegal immigrants, let's say that word again, illegal, why are they deserving of benefits that black people, which are our reparations, we can't get?
Not at all. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
And okay,
And they get it faster.
Yes, they're getting iPhones, they're getting apartments, they're getting jobs, PlayStations, clothes. They're getting a stipend. The Ukrainian people who coming over here getting $100,000. 60 out of that $80 billion that went to Ukraine, 65 million disappeared.
Yeah, okay, disappeared.
Exactly. Now this is what's going on. But see, but here we go again. And what did I tell you about? It was gonna be some more black men dying on TV. You see this young black man who socked that woman and got killed on TV? Did you see that in Chicago?
No, I didn't.
Okay, they're in the store. They arguing about what they at a taco stand, as they say. They arguing, and he telling her, "Ma'am, be quiet. Get your food. Get your food." He hauled off and he socked her twice. Her 14-year-old son shot and killed him. Okay, here's the problem with that. One, they're in Chicago. This shit is bigger than what they putting it is. Because here's the issue. It's two problems right here. Both of them are wrong. Both of them are wrong. He wrong for engaging with that woman in that aspect as a man. He's wrong for that. She's wrong for getting her 14-year-old son, who everybody's saying he was such a good kid. Then if he's such a good kid and he getting straight A's, then she needed to be protecting of him and not have him out at a goddamn taco stand at 12 o'clock at night trying to get a fucking taco. Okay? So both of them were wrong.
Absolutely.
Because if she loved and protect him like that, and he's such a good kid and he getting all them good grades, he should have been more. She should have been more protecting of him. And then
Both should have been at home at midnight.
Exactly. This is my point. I'm not justifying this clown ass man for doing any, because you should not even. There is no reason why a strange woman, y'all should be arguing. You don't know this woman, y'all shouldn't be arguing. There is no reason. Period.
You're right, because you don't have to engage.
Because you don't have. It's easier for you to walk away than to sit here and dealing with a cackling ass woman who mad about whatever. Both of y'all in a taco joint upset. Y'all in a taco joint arguing.
And that was a lack of wisdom on her part on many numerous. Number one, you can go wherever you want to go whenever you want to. But why increase the chances of negativity? By number one, you're a woman. And number two, you out at midnight. Number three, you have your child. So you are increasing the probability of being in a negative situation that you can't control.
In Chicago, how many niggas is getting killed in Chicago every weekend?
Daily, and then
I
it
mean,
goes
for
up
real
on the
now.
weekend.
In Chicago. Okay, now, here's where it gets deeper. Is because they said she told her son to go after him outside and shoot him with again. Okay,
What?
hold on, hear me out. They left the scene of the crime. Okay, they didn't call the police, but they're not charging her with anything. They say they don't have enough evidence to charge her. First of all, she left the scene of a crime. And her child has a 14-year-old child has a gun. What you mean y'all can't charge her? Okay, it sets a bad precedent. It's two things, because here we go again. Is we talking about the Democratic Party who gonna use this to say we gotta protect black women, and then it's also sets a bad precedent because it's open season on black men by everybody.
Yes, yes, and it has been since we got here, and it got worse when Obama was elected president.
It got worse, and now it's going to get even worse because it's unfortunately it's incentivizing black females that hate black men,
Who truly hate themselves.
who truly hate themselves, who truly at war with God, as I keep telling people. All
That's true.
of these posts that I'm seeing now, and they talking about black and white. I mean, the man in the relationship. The first thing I always post on there is that you idiots don't realize you're at war with God.
That's true.
You ain't at
That's
war with each other, black man, black woman. You ain't in war with each other. You at war with God.
That's true, because you don't want to listen. You don't want to consider what he has to say. So if you don't have that relationship, everything else is off.
Everything else is off. And as I keep saying with that, it just keeps proving to me is that it's a lot of horny people out here. They ain't trying to get righteous and get right with God.
They're not. Now, that is not an assumption. That is an absolute fact in your face all the time. And it's perpetuated from parent to child.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, it is.
And it's going to cost them all dearly. And by the time they recognize it, it's in many cases, it'll be too late.
Exactly. It's going. It's going to be. And the sad part about it is those of us who got some sense, we not listened to because in their mind we ain't got shit. And like I had to tell my nephew about that one day. I said, the one thing that I got for you, you don't even want. And he was like, well, what's that, Unc? I said, my wisdom. But you don't want that. You want money. So you have to go, since I don't have that to give you, there's nothing I can give you. But you don't want what I have to give you.
And money, they better listen. Biggie told them, more money, more problems. So even if you have a lot of money, that don't make you happy. That just makes you possibly able to pay your bills, which is no guarantee if you don't know how to utilize it when you have it.
And
There's no guarantee of peace of mind just because you got money. Think about how many well-to-do people we hear about them. What's that young comedian just went and checked himself into Davidson, checked himself into a mental place?
Yep. And I tell
Rodney P. Henson went on her mental journey.
Exactly.
Mental health ain't no joke. I don't care how much money you have.
It doesn't stop you from that, because what it does is this is what people don't understand about when you want money, when you chasing money in that aspect. It's, when do you ever stop? When is enough enough?
Yep.
How many cars can you drive? How many cars do you want in your driveway, in your collection? How big does the house have to be?
Look, I saw an interview with 50 Cent, and I can't remember the guy's name, the nighttime guy. He says when he owned Mike Tyson's house, it was 55,000 square feet. What you gonna do with all of that? He said it got to a point, he looked down the hallway and he said, I'm not going down there. I don't care what's going on. I'm not going down there. He said, I'm never buying another big house. And I understand that a lot of times those who have extreme wealth, you got to do something with the money, or the government going to take it back from you. But they are not the common people. A lot of them, like himself, they take care of a bunch of people in the family, as you should if you can. if you got that kind of money.
Yeah,
But money don't make you happy. It
never
may
have.
it may allow things to be a little easier for you, but money can be dangerous.
Money provides options and opportunities.
Period. That's it. That's all.
That's what it does. It's a tool just like an ink pen.
Yes. But to me, if this is not right, your head and your heart, if they are not right, and as we spoke on before, if there's no relationship with God, it's all for naught because you're going to leave it all behind.
No doubt. And again, and as I told my nephew, I said, see, a fool and his money shall part, because I'm a classic example of that. I says, I went out and I was able to acquire a couple $100,000, but because I knew nothing about risk management, I knew nothing about it makes more sense to preserve your money than when you make it, than to actually be proud of just making it. So I'm a classic example of, I went out there and was able to acquire, but I had nothing in place to keep it.
And that's amazing to me because you are not dumb at all. You're not
Well,
ignorant at all, but you may be ignorant of some things.
and that's what it was. I was, and that's where I'm going with this, is that you don't know everything.
Absolutely.
So and I'm not and because of my lack of knowledge and understanding of risk management and doing those kinds of things, and once you see your portfolio starting to slip, move it and do those kinds of things, I wasn't aware, so it was easy for me to lose my money. And that tells me, nephew, it will be easy for you to lose your money
Because you're not learning anything. I'm
because
trying
you're
to
not
teach you
learning
something else.
anything.
And that's what I don't get it. I don't get it. Once somebody can show you why this makes sense, why do you? I mean, you're not accomplishing anything the way you're going. Why wouldn't you want to change directions, or at least consider it? You can consider things in your mind and on paper. They're gonna make if they make sense. Why wouldn't you consider it? Why would you want to keep doing what you've been doing? Why you want to be like everybody else? Why you want to be in the crowd when you can be a leader and be by yourself and going in
Exactly.
another direction? I don't understand it. I don't understand the mentality.
And
To this day, to me, if you don't have a desire to learn, just go on down and get it over with. But you should be learning on a regular basis because
and
a lot of the things you knew when you were younger, that's all you did was know them. You didn't understand. You lacked the wisdom with the knowledge.
exactly. And unfortunately, and I'm just as guilty of this, but now I can bridge the gap with younger guys. But I was guilty of this myself. It's not real, even though I listened, but not to the degree that I should have listened to older men. But it wasn't in a disrespectful manner that we tend to get all old head. You don't know nothing about, you know what I mean. So ours is the level of disrespect, but it also goes back to our generation who just discounting. So I get it, but the thing is what they don't fail to realize is we didn't walk this path already. It ain't
Absolutely.
about it's just making about making it. We done did these things. There, all the things that you're going to go through. We have went through them just with a different set of makeup on it, but it's
Absolutely.
the same thing.
There's nothing new under the sun. If it's
Nothing
new, it
new
ain't
under the
true. If
sun.
it's true, it ain't new.
There's
Uh,
nothing new.
it's just discipline. With a lot of the knowledge and with the wisdom, if you lack discipline, it's not going to work for you. Discipline
True.
is important in everything that you do, and you'll find it'll show itself because when
Yeah.
you are disciplined, things start working. You start seeing the benefits,
Yeah.
and when you
And
slip, on the discipline, so will the other things that go along with it.
Exactly, because I was just about to say, along with your discipline, you have to be obedient to your discipline.
Absolutely, that's the only way it'll work.
That's the only
So,
way it works.
and now you may have to change what it is you're being disciplined for or disciplined with, But discipline, it helps you in every aspect of your life. If you are overweight and you decide to lose weight, if you are disciplined and obedient to to the right kind of discipline, you're going to accomplish what you're looking for.
Exactly, because and this is also an issue. A lot of times we don't have a destination.
Absolutely. Oh, yes.
We don't have an end point. What's the end point of what you're trying to get done? Because if you got an end point, now you can walk it backwards.
Very true.
Which in their terms is called reverse engineering, but that's pretty much all you're doing is just walking it backwards.
Yes. Yes.
You know, and so and I'm in the process of I may have be a coach on a youth basketball in a youth basketball league. So I'm looking at this opportunity as not about basketball. This is about life. This is gonna be about giving you things to improve your life, young man. Yeah, basketball gonna be cool. It's gonna be about improving your life.
Coach Carter and Samuel L.
Absolutely.
Jackson character. You remember?
Seriously. And I already said I'm not gonna be like I'm coming in there like Pat Riley. I'm coming in there dressed up for all our games. This is business. I'm gonna show a whole new light to these young men. Like, no, this is how we gonna go about doing this. We're gonna be men all the time. You might be 13, 14, 10, 12. We're gonna be men all the time.
It makes a
And
difference because
yeah,
that's how you can change a person. See, people, you can't just tell somebody about mindset, especially if they are not working with the same tools as you, or if the environment they're in is so far removed from what you're attempting to convey to them. But if you show them,
exactly.
they begin to understand that mindset because it's
Exactly.
going to, you start feeling different about yourself. I mean, not only that, there's history behind that. That's the way we used to look all the time. It was
Absolutely.
all the men did was wear suits. I never saw my father in a pair of jeans my whole life. All he ever wore was suits and maybe some shorts every blue moon. But that was
And
rare.
and think about it. And think about his whole attitude, demeanor when he had on his suits.
Yes,
In comparison to when he had on his loungewear.
yes, totally different.
Totally different man.
That's no different than when we as women, when you get dressed and you know you
Yep.
look nice, it's a different vibe for you than when you dress down, unless you're one of those women who dress down and still look nice. And you may remember the young lady that worked not in our office, but she worked on the first floor at Bethune. And every day she was always immaculate in her dress, her hair, and she wore really nice things. Brown skinned young lady, I can't recall her name. I mean, she wore the best of everything all the time, but she looked nice all the time. But I thought to myself, but you're gonna look the same when you dress up and go out.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it does. It changes your mindset. It also changes perception.
Absolutely. Yes, it does. You know, I mean, and it,
Being poor is a state of mind. It does not mean you have to look your worst.
no, I also and I tell people, you know, it is that it's always a money don't make you happy. It makes you far more happier than poverty does.
But this is true. But
That's
but remember though, poverty is a state of mind. I'm gonna tell you why I say it.
absolutely. Yeah, it
After
is a part of it. Everything starts in the mind.
after visiting the island, and you see people feet nasty, so nasty, don't like it's possible to get clean. Clothes look like somebody drug them behind a horse. But these people are calm, no having no blood pressure problems, and you see them again, and they clean. They actually go out into the Caribbean Sea and take a bath, get out
Hmm.
there and just soak in it, and be clean. You can pull mangoes off the trees. You can get pistachios off the trees. You got wax apples, avocados growing free. And at the very least, you can go out and fish. So we look at them and look at that and conceive it as poverty. No, it ain't. They lay back and chill. And the only times they start getting sickness is if they start messing with our food. The guy went up in the tree, got a coconut and used his machete and poured the water out of it. delicious.
I was about to say the best water you probably done had in years.
It is. You see people with a straw in the actual coconut drinking the water. I mean, then if depending on what time you get it, the jelly that we refer to as the meat, the jelly inside,
Mhm.
baby, that's some good stuff. Before it gets like the harder version,
Yeah.
the softer version is better than the harder version. Then he made some chips from the coconut inside, and I never saw brown coconut with hair on it. I never saw that.
Mm.
Never. Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
we
just
live in places. That's the thing is, we don't, and that's something here is. I mean, well, you see, they didn't improve the finally didn't improve the lab grown meat.
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so they finally improved
I'm
that.
definitely going vegan. Okay.
Yeah, well, no doubt. But and after I thought about it, I said, well, in reality, the taste of Burger King and McDonald's and all of that, we've been eating lab grown meat a while now
Well, I don't
because
even know if that was meat. I tell people
the
anything the
lab.
flies don't want, I don't want it either.
Thank
If
you.
a fly
Fly,
won't mess with it, why in heaven's name would I want it?
flies and ants don't eat that stuff. You know you shouldn't eat it because they
The
eat
only
everything.
thing they'll still mess with is what's the little things I like every now and then? White Castle.
I
And
literally watched ants. I watched ants go around, now a Charms blow pop. Did not touch the Charms blow pop. They went around it. I said, wow,
I'm shocked at that one.
what the hell is on there?
They don't have to worry about me messing with the charms. But the only reason I like White Castles is because in 4 hours they're gone.
Yeah, pretty much. One way or another.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I after really seeing that and then sitting here just watching some of these folks bragging about this lab grown meat and all this, I'm like, well, I'm glad I have decided not to necessarily just stop eating meat, but just to stop eating in general.
Listen,
To eat less.
people don't think about it. How nutritious could it possibly be?
None.
If it's anything, it's gonna give you some cancer.
That's all it's going to give you is some cancer. And because looking at what's going on is this is nothing more but them being able to put all the vaccines and whatever else they want to put into the food.
Well, did I send you the one about where Izza is talking about the burgers and something else he mentioned about Chick-fil-A and another food industry? He talked about how 35 ingredients of it are they're chemicals. It's not even food. He said,
Yeah.
what you is what do you say? Chick-fil-A chemicals. That's what you're eating. And you think you eating a better food, but you're not. They put stuff in there to make you want it, but when
I
we ate breakfast there, they had mango and pumpkin and uh, what's the other one? Papaya, waxed apple. That's the kind of stuff you would eat, and you put some little yogurt on it if you want. Then they come out with the other breakfast, and they have bananas, but they also have plantain. And our folks need to get used to doing some of these things because
well,
plantain, oh my God, it's so delicious.
well, we've decided to make life easier for not make life easier for us, and
All you really did was made life more complicated because you're
that's
more
all you
probable
did.
to get sick.
That's
Now
all you did.
you're gonna need some care, and your insurance is not gonna cover everything. So, nah. And
No,
the coconut water we get here ain't coconut water; it's
it,
sugar water.
that's all it is. The coconut oil, that all it's all garbage. It's all garbage. It's just they throw it all natural or organic tag on there. It's all garbage
Yeah, you
because
you really have to be picky.
yeah, you really and truly have to go to stores that specialize in those items because
And
going
I never saw like a really fat person. I saw some healthy people, but I mean straight up fat. Cause babe, the heels and stuff, they had to walk up and down. You have some strong legs to live up in that place. But I
Mhm.
mean, they may not have been no brick houses, But I didn't see anybody like could barely get around because they too fat and all of that. I didn't see any of that.
Here's a question that was posed to me, which I'm gonna pose to you, and we a couple minutes before our hour's time is up. But here's a question I'm gonna pose to you. Somebody posed to me. Have you ever seen an Arab eat a chicken wing, a fried chicken wing?
No, I sure haven't.
But they eat chicken more than we do. You going
But
in?
they are considering the Middle East and what is it? The Mediterranean diet is supposed to be the healthiest diet of all time.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But that's fascinating. It's like, but at the same time, and just kind of on that is you find by me being out in Dearborn a lot, I'm finding that it's a lot of Arabs that's out in Dearborn that since they done been here for a while, they starting to get high blood pressure, kidney disease. They starting to get all of that stuff now.
That's what was happening at the island, because some of those who mess around with the American food, they getting diseases that they never had. That's just like a young lady I used to work with that was Nigerian, and she talked about all the issues. They wasn't having no cancer, this and the other. And I told somebody, I said, if you look when they show you abject poverty in Africa or what they perceive it to be, you never see old people. You know why? So they killed off all the so-called old people, leadership type people, so the people coming up wouldn't know what was going on, and they could do to them whatever they wanted to do to them. Half of the sicknesses has been put in them.
Exactly. And I'm glad you just said exactly what you said. And that's exactly what's going on here. That's exactly what they did with COVID. We get rid of the old people, so the new people, so the younger folks don't know what the old people do, remedies or any of that stuff. That's exactly what they did for.
And now you wish you had listened.
Exactly. Absolutely. Now you walking around here, as I like to say, a government created person.
Yeah. When they say government name, just say government property.
That's it. Government property of the United States government. Because that's what you are now. Pretty much. So
again.
Right.
Now,
so but yeah, that's it's coming up to our end time now. Our hour is coming to an end.
Well, my brother, let me say I have missed you. I have missed doing this. I'm glad to be back. Thank you for your patience on waiting on your sister. But this is great, and this was good. And we'll dive into this again with the Democratic Party, because historically Black people were Republicans, and then all went left, and then we would end up with the Democrats.
I just and hold on now. This is the level of ignorance with the Black people. Okay, we've been faithfully voting Democratic since 1972. I have the next time we talk about this, I have the PDF to prove it. We've been voting since 1972, all Democratic. We haven't switched parties at all.
In 51 years.
That's why we get what we get. And I meant to bring that up when we went on this call too. We can definitely dwell further into this Democrat Party, why they need Black people, and more about, because I know by the time we talk again, I've been to find most stuff on the Congressional Black Caucus, their work or lack thereof.
Well, Democratic Party needs Black people part 2. We will revisit it on Sunday.
We'll revisit it on Sunday. Sound good to me. So with that being said, I want to bid everybody a great evening, a great happy 4th of July, even if you don't celebrate it. And in reality, if you live in America, you do celebrate it. So
whether you want to or not.
Whether you want to or not, thank you, because you can't go to the bank. But have a great Sunday, and again, enjoy your holiday, folks. I'm signing off. This is Mr. Clay.
And this is Lady A. Ditto to my brother. Enjoy, be safe, and stay away from fools so we can see you the next day.
I second that. Have a good one, guys.
Bye-bye.